Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So a lot of you guys kind of gave me some flack for trading in my 2023 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro for my Lexus LX600 F Sport here, and rightfully so. And I want to kind of give you guys my honest thoughts between those two vehicles, right? I mean, and I'll try to shoot you straight. Obviously, I traded the 4Runner in for this, so I have a bias at this point, but I have owned several 5th generation 4Runner TRD Pros, and I love them. I absolutely love that platform, love that vehicle, and not to mention the price point. The price point is the most, so much better than it. You can literally buy a 4Runner TRD Pro, a brand new one, and a brand new, well, 3rd gen Tacoma TRD Pro, 2023 Tacoma TRD Pro, both of those for the price of this. Let me say that again. You get a Tacoma and a 4Runner TRD Pro for the price of just this right here. So that is very important to note when you're talking about the two of the vehicles here, right? So obviously there's a lot more going on with the LX here. You know, a ton more tech. You know, it truly is an overbuilt platform. Toyota and Lexus go into building this, the 300 series Land Cruiser, to last. They build it to last 20 plus years with minimal maintenance. You've heard me talking time and time again about that, but they truly do, and they pride themselves on building such a phenomenal vehicle that is reliable, extreme quality control all throughout it, in and out, exceptional resale value too. You find that with Toyotas at large, though. But would I buy, if I could do it all over again, would I do it? Would I trade in my 4Runner TRD Pro, my solar octane one, which I loved? Would I trade it in for this? And I think if I'm being honest with you guys and with myself, I don't think I would. And I kind of, it pains me to say that out loud, because this truly is, I mean, it is the better vehicle for sure. There's no question about it. But is it double the price better? And that, I think, if I'm being honest with myself and you guys, the answer is no. Right? This isn't twice a 4Runner TRD Pro. And to some degree, I've really developed a love for Toyota at large due to the simplicity. And I always kind of wondered if this was going to bother me a little bit, and it has. There's so much tech involved in this. A million creature comforts, head-up display, heated cool seats, front and back heated cool seats, 2 infotainment screens. I'll pop in here to remind you what it looks like. There's just so much going on with the Lexus here, and it's almost overwhelming. I mean, for someone like me, I really do appreciate, simple controls, just a couple knobs here and there, tactile buttons, just a few buttons to do the simple things you need, and not try to be anything that it's not. And unfortunately, with this, there's a lot. You got active height control too. A couple buttons, you start elevating the height of the vehicle, or you can lower it down. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I don't need, right? And I would argue most people don't, of course. Does it make it any less cool? No. I still love this vehicle. It's easily the nicest vehicle I've ever owned, but it kind of boils down to that price point, right? At $111,000 and some change, I don't know. Personally, I'm not a millionaire, so I can't justify it totally, right? If I had, I don't know, if I was a millionaire, maybe, yeah, I would justify getting this over the 4Runner and being proud of it. But because I am the way I am and I appreciate simplicity, there is, I think, better value in getting that 4Runner. Not to mention, they're both equally capable off-road. And some may argue perhaps even the 4Runner is even more capable because it is a smaller platform. I mean, it's a little bit not as wide as the LX here. You do have crawl control, you have rear center diff lock, you have everything you need, multi-terrain selection within that 4Runner TRD Pro. The same things that you have in the LX here, or the 300 series Land Cruiser, the same exact little gizmos and tricks and gadgets to make it an extremely capable off-roader. But then here I am talking about off-roading. Look at those wheels. We got some 22-inch wheels with pretty low-profile tires. This is not a recipe for success off-road by any means, right? So here we have this extremely capable vehicle for off-roading, but it doesn't come packaged ready to go for off-roading. So I don't know. It's almost, I don't know. The Land Cruiser with the the better, or the better tires from factory, and the less bells and whistles, it feels more appropriate to take that from the dealership and actually go on down a trail with it. But again, between this and a 4Runner, 9 out of 10 people, 4Runner is going to be able to tackle exactly what you want it to, right? between the two vehicles here. So there's definitely pros and cons to each of them, of course. Both of them have great resale. A major problem with this one in particular is that high price point. It's difficult to just call up a Lexus dealer and say, hey, I have a Lexus LX600 F Sport, much like I do, and offer it to them, say, hey, are you willing to buy it? There's a lot more involved in that process when you have a vehicle at this price point. I can nearly call up any Toyota dealership and say, hey, I have a 4Runner TRD Pro, I got 15,000 miles on it, do you want to buy it? They'll be like, yes, absolutely. And they will pay top dollar for it because they know that they can turn around and sell that thing in a heartbeat and finance it and get a kickback through the finance, right? Through the lender. So there is a little bit more involvement with actually trying to resell this. I can tell you guys, it takes a lot more legwork to make it happen, to actually try to maximize your dollar for it. However, if you are someone who is not like me and actually owns the vehicle for several years, if you are the type to buy a vehicle and drive it till the wheels fall off, this is the vehicle you want to get, right? If you are that person to drive it for 20 years, you're going to get your money's worth out of the LX here. You can run this thing through the paces and do minimal maintenance, truly, and it will run just fine and take good care of you and your family throughout your ownership. I did the math, after paying for like the front clear bar, the window tint, taxes, right around $115,000 for this LX600 F Sport. Over 20 years, that equates to $5,750 per year. So to own this for 20 years, that's how much you're paying if you want to break up that $115,000 through 20 years. However, at the end of that 20 years, of course, they're still going to be able to resell this. And this, unlike most other vehicles, will actually have a pretty decent resale in 20 years. As we're seeing now, currently with like the 80 series Land Cruiser, they are selling for very, very high price points if they're in good condition. Even with high miles, they sell very well. So you do at least have that peace of mind with this. Between it being exceptional when it comes to reliability, you do have that resale down the road. But if you're like me and you're typically the person who owns it for less than a year, okay, a few hours, you might find yourself in a little bit more of a pickle trying to sell this thing so quickly, right? To try to capitalize on getting your money back out of it anyway. So let me remind you just how swanky this this interior is. So it is extremely plush. It is beautiful in here. Everything's soft to the touch. You have metal bezels surrounding all the buttons and knobs. All the trim pieces are metal. Leather wrapped up on the dash with the stitching involved everywhere. Same goes for the door. Lots of metal finishes all throughout to include the door handle. Metal right here. Soft touch up here. Even these are metal buttons. It is a pleasant place to be, I assure you. A major difference though between this and the 4Runner is seating room. So you do have a lot more headroom in this. Visibility is exceptional in the LX here, just as it always has been in the Land Cruisers of the past, the 200 series and 180 before that. Exceptional headroom, plenty of space. It is wider, noticeably wider than the 4Runner, but then again, that might make the 4Runner better off-road than this. We do have a third row though, right? So you actually, if you do have a larger family, you can actually make it work in the LX600 here, whereas you only do have that second row in the 4Runner. So there you have it, guys. Try my best to shoot you straight on it. I love this vehicle. The LX is such an exceptional vehicle in and out, but when it comes down to the price point, $111,000, is it worth it over the 4Runner TRD Pro? I would argue for 9 out of 10 people, it is not. So let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you agree. I appreciate you watching as always. Until next time.